Going into a resale, you may have to put in a couple of 50, 60,000 to renovate to kind of get it to your taste, where a pre-construction, you're customizing it from day one.
Walk me into like what your perspective is on the MLM format and what that does for the culture on it.
You decide that you're not going to be selling anymore and you're going to retire. You have money that you may not have had if you were at a traditional brokerage. So if I could give anybody advice, it's really just to go online and do your research.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to What Would It Cost? It's our first episode back in the What Would It Cost studio. However, this studio is in our new headquarters at 180 Bass Pro, the new Spark Financial Group headquarters, that is. And Monique was our first guest that joined us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming here. And today we're going to talk a little bit about EXP, what it looks like to sell pre-con, resale, and to build a downline in EXP. So not only on the transaction side, but the MLM format that they've built into their business model and how it's been brilliant for them and how they continue to grow, take on more market share, and breed awesome agents like Monique.
Thank you.
All right.
So, let's rock and roll.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm really, really good.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
No problem.
And it was interesting having that discussion a little earlier before we hopped in here in regards to how you're part of this EXP team.
Yes.
Yeah. So we haven't gone into detail with the whole EXP brand and that brokerage as a whole on this podcast. So let's touch up on that a little bit. How do you like your experience so far with EXP?
I love EXP. I know all my EXP people are going to be watching this and we're all going to be rooting, but I joined EXP when I was in the middle of COVID. So 2020, when everything shut down, I was reevaluating my business. I was at a traditional brokerage at that time, and I said, okay, something here needs to change. Nothing's driving for me, and EXP had come across my path at that time, and I looked into it, and after that I signed up, and I never looked back.
Right.
I love the training that we have, the atmosphere. I've gone to so many different conferences in Mexico and Vegas and Vancouver for EXP, and just the atmosphere of agents is so different.
Right.
And that's what I feel like I was missing, just to have aligned people around me.
Right. Right. So the company culture is just on a whole other level.
Yeah, a whole different level.
Yeah.
Like, I've never met so many happy agents in my life.
Right. And now, why do you think that is?
I think that's because we get really good training and we get really good mentorship at our brokerage, and we have different ways of getting paid and the rev share. And there's a lot of different avenues for not just being a traditional agent. You know, there's more to it.
Okay.
And we're very like social media based, which I love.
Right. Right. So take me through that a
Yes.
little bit in further detail in regards to your more social media based. What does that mean exactly?
So in COVID, we couldn't door knock, which was my way of getting clients, door knocking, cold calling, all that type of stuff. And all that kind of got shut down during COVID, right? Nobody wants to talk on the phone as clients. Nobody wants you to knock on their doors. So I had to kind of venture outside. So when I was with EXP, as I joined, I had come across this mentor, and he's all about social media branding. Now, I took his course, and that was it for me. After that, I started doing videos and reels and TikToks, and that's when my business on social media really started to pick up. Right. A lot of people started to notice me. Oh, you're an agent. Oh, I need a lease, or oh, I'm looking for a buy during COVID times now.
Right.
So then I started doing FaceTimes and Skype. So it was a different type of transactional time period.
Mm-hmm. Right. So what do you think about the MLM format in EXP? Is that something that builds on the culture that has these agents being really excited about? Because from what I see and what I understand is that it's something that is very unique in a way that no other brokerage has it.
Absolutely.
And it can have a lot of upside to it.
Yes.
So walk me into like what your perspective is and what your view is on the MLM format and what that does for the culture on an overall.
So the MLM format at EXP is actually really awesome because it gives you time to get paid in different avenues. So even if you're not making a sale at that moment, you still have a residual income coming in. Or, you decide that you're not going to be selling anymore and you're going to retire. You have money that you may not have had if you were at a traditional brokerage. And I feel like that's a big thing for a lot of people going, okay, that retirement fund, I can pass this on. And it's not just for them, it's for their families, right? So people are thinking outside of the box. And I think that builds a big culture at EXP because a lot of people want multiple streams of income, right? Everything is so expensive, and that builds onto a culture because it feels like everybody's kind of doing the same thing. We're all coaching. We're all kind of trying to lead. We're all, like trying to lead with love, trying to be happy, trying to strive in our business. So I think the MLL part of EXP is probably the smartest aspect of it, and it holds us very different than any other brokerage.
Right. It's the MLL or
MLM. Sorry,
MLM. Okay, yeah,
MLM.
Right,
Yes.
Right. Which is awesome because us as entrepreneurs, we don't have a pension, right? And if you haven't made investments in whatever asset class that don't create passive income, this is a great way to do it through your business, right?
Absolutely.
And while you're putting a lot of time, effort, and capital into your brand, and your personal brand, your business page, this is a way for you to monetize it above and beyond just you making a sale, right?
Exactly.
It's being able to build a downline, a team,
Yes.
and keeping them inspired and feeling, like they're under the right person.
Exactly.
Kind of vibe is a great way to leverage that because it's a lot of output. Right?
It
It's a
is.
lot of output on our ends, right? And
It is.
your end as a real estate
Constantly.
agent. So it's like you want to be able to maximize the potential of that output and that effort, right? So I love that they've added that layer in
Me
there.
too.
I think it's brilliant. And I think when I look at some stats and data, they're really starting to take on, a lot more of the market share.
We are.
Which is exciting because whenever that's the case and there's exponential growth, something's right. And probably many things they got going on are right. But from what I've seen when I've lifted up the hood, that's a big piece, right?
Yeah, and we're very agent centric, so everything goes back to the agent as opposed to going back to everybody else and not the agents at a traditional brokerage, which I really liked too because agents work very hard,
Right.
and we're hustling in and day out. So to have that extra stream or to have those other free dental care and stuff that EXP provides, it's just a bonus for us for just doing our job.
Right. Yeah. No, very cool. Very cool. So now let's focus a little bit more on you and the real estate piece
Yes.
with the selling side of it, the resale, the pre-construction. What is it that you specialize in, and more so, what's your favorite thing to do?
So I specialize in pre-construction, and that has been my favorite.
Okay.
And the reason why is because, so we have a family business where my parents would buy and flip properties, and we would always tell my dad during summer vacations that we're bored. So my dad goes, "Oh, you're bored? Well, here's a paintbrush. Start painting.
Right.
Start ripping out the carpet. Start putting down hardwood." So we really learned the construction side of it and getting our hands dirty and buying and flipping properties. So the pre-construction aspect kind of came in with my love for construction because we would always demo houses and flip them. So pre-construction kind of went hand in hand with me in that aspect. And I love the fact that, we're going to be going into this new development and there's 10 towers coming and there's, new infrastructure going to be built and new offices, new jobs. All that stuff really entices me to really help my clients, pick the best locations for their homes or their investments.
Right. Now, do you find that it's something that you're building a reputation for, focusing on that niche, and
Yes.
where resale isn't something that a lot of people are coming to you for, more so pre-con?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that being your niche?
I'm absolutely okay with it.
Yeah.
I feel like during COVID is when I really decided which way I was going to go. When I was with my traditional brokerage, I was doing a lot of buying for clients, a lot of leases, and now I'm on the other side. I do more so just pre-construction, and honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Right.
I love it so much more. We work with a lot of investors, a lot of first-time home buyers that, got outbid of the market, but they were able to purchase a pre-construction. So there's a lot of pros there for us.
Right. And now, what are some of the communities that you get involved with in regards to the projects? And is there specific areas that you focus on more so than others, or is it a developer that you'll follow, a specific developer builder? Is it whatever your brokerage is pushing? Like, how does that?
So I actually have built the personal relationships with the developers and their sales teams myself. So I started showing up to all their events and kind of introducing myself. So the way I pick my projects is it really depends on a lot of the builders. So if it's a specific builder I really like, I will promote that project or a specific location. So right now we're working for this fall. We have a lot of projects that are coming out in Vaughan. We have projects in Mississauga and more of the Yorkville, Toronto area.
Right.
So those are like my niches for the next little couple of months.
Right.
So
right.
between those areas.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And what are some habits that you have that you recommend to pick up to all the new and up and coming agents, or even for agents that are out there that are looking to pick up some new good habits?
I would say watch mentorship videos from other agents, or just watch their reels and podcasts. That's how I learned. When I got into pre-construction, I honestly learned everything from the internet.
Right.
Because it was COVID. Everything was shut down. Any agent that I had reached out to would shut me down. So, I really had to learn everything myself. So if I could give anybody advice, it's really just to go online and do your research, because everything is accessible on there.
Right, right. And now, is there any program or coach in specific that you have reached out to, or
No.
that you've been, because I remember you saying you got coached?
Yeah, so through EXP, we have different, we have an EXP University World that we go into, and they have different types of trainings. So there's different types of mentors on there that you can watch, whether it's like social media or listing, how to do listing presentations, how to get buyer clients. So our EXP World has pretty much everything you need to be an agent from
Right.
A to Z.
And that's where you
That's
got
where
it.
I learned everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And is that something that, you feel that you couldn't have done without?
I feel like I could have, but the way that my business is running now, I feel like I needed that extra little oomph to help me get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what would you say makes you different? What would you say makes you stand apart from the rest, and that, really gives you an edge?
So what makes me stand apart is that I have 30 plus years I've been in this business since I was 4 years old with my parents.
Okay.
Then I grew up, we did this business, and then I got into front desk. So once I got into front desk, I started to see what I would and wouldn't do as an agent and as a team leader if I had my own team. So now I feel like because I'm on the other side as an agent, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't do. Like always thank your team, because you are where you're at because of your team. And that's one thing I learned working front desk. You have to be appreciative of the people that help you be successful.
Right.
So that was number one for me. That helps me stand out. And I always over-educate my clients. And we really go through a whole process of what are your goals? What are you looking for in the next 6 months to the year, and why? Because maybe a pre-construction won't work for my clients at that time, right? Maybe we need to look into a resale. So I really dive down into my clients' goals and what we're actually looking at. And I try to get them to avoid all the articles that are out and the clickbaits and, getting scared from the media. I really like to sit with my clients one-on-one and educate them on what's actually going down, because there's a lot of transactions that are still happening right now.
Right. Right. Very good. Yeah, no, and I'm sure that they're ranting and raving about your service and how you really care and go the extra mile, and that helps with the referral side
Absolutely.
of things, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. So what's next?
There's a lot that's next on my plate. Right now, I'm in the middle of building a whole team out, and we're branching off into different avenues. So the next branch is hopefully Florida for us.
Right on.
Yeah,
Very
Florida
cool.
for us. So we have a lot of outreach out there. So that's our next move.
Nice. So how do you look to get down there?
Well, I have a couple of friends that actually already live down there. So they've told me, it's time for you to stop your business a little bit here, let your team run here, and then you kind of just start going down there. Because with EXP, we're so globalized that we have so many different avenues that you can start selling out there. So I feel like by fall, I'm going to make my trip out there and kind of start scouting out my next moves.
Nice,
Yes.
nice. Why Florida?
So I love Miami. That's my next move. If I could leave Toronto and go anywhere in the world right now, it would be Miami.
Right. Why?
The lifestyle. Everything in Miami is better. Bigger
Right.
and better.
Bigger and better. Right on. So why not run a business there?
Exactly.
Yeah, very cool. No, I hear you on that one. We have a brokerage in Lauderdale.
Yes, I saw
South
that.
Florida there. So we're happy to be there. And most recently have expanded out into Miami as well. So yeah, it's good. You're going to like it.
I might never come back.
Yeah. Right on. And tell anything in regards to the personal development space and
Yes.
you keep busy with that. So.
I do. So I listen to Jay Shetty a lot, his podcast.
Okay.
That's one podcast that I listen to religiously.
Yeah.
I do my morning meditation, my affirmations, and I really try to just keep myself really calm and collective through the day because it can get crazy.
Right.
So yeah, those are do a lot of meditation, walks, working out. I've started cold plunge.
Nice.
I don't like it, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's
Mind
okay.
over matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my personal development side. I just really like to stay in touch with myself.
Nice. I just came from the tubs. I was at Elemental.
And how was it?
It's literally 30 seconds down the road. It was good. You're never gonna like the cold water, right?
No.
But you'll warm up to it.
Do you shower with
And
cold
then,
water?
No, I don't.
Okay, yeah, me neither.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, if I'm gonna do it, like it's
only a cold
Yeah,
plunge.
it's in a tub. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've heard nothing but good things about cold showers, and I've done it like a bunch of times. Just haven't gone into the routine of it yet.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not a cold water person.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about what the major concerns are from the people in regards to new development.
So the first question I always get is this going to be built?
Right.
Right, because there's been a lot of scare in the market with, a lot of smaller builders that did come in the hot market and sold a lot of pre-construction, and some of those projects have been canceled. So for me, I really like to work with only reputable builders, builders that have a track record that have been around for a long time. So some builds that I work for is Tridel and Center Court and Menkees. These are builders, Greywood, that have been in the business for years. You're getting your finished product, right? So when I work on these projects, I make sure to tell my clients, no, look, this is their track record. The project will be built. Let's drive past their old projects that they've just built so you know what their finished product looks like.
Right.
So that's
Right.
my big thing. And I think that's my only main question I get from my clients is this going to be built? Is this a reputable builder?
Right.
How long is this going to be built in? Are you
Right.
sure?
Yeah, no, and that's something that's been happening all too often as the
Yes.
most recent, right? With projects not taking them to with builders not taking these projects to the finish line.
Yes.
And for many different reasons. However, nonetheless, the clients really don't care, right?
Yeah.
They just want to see the project finished, and they want to see what they anticipated their end value to be there, present, existing, waiting for them. And,
Exactly.
It's been something that's ongoing. Right. And happening still. Right. So
Till to this day.
Yeah,
So
no.
it's really scary. And I feel like that's where a lot of people get their scare for pre-construction, because a resale, you're going into that house that you're buying. It's already been built. Where pre-construction, you have delays. You don't know what's happening. You may not always see the progress. I mean, it takes how many months for them to dig and get up and, get going. So for clients, it's a lot of scare.
Right. So have you had any horror stories yourself in regards to selling a project that didn't make it to the finish line and having to just essentially deal with everyone and having those tough conversations, or is that something?
Thankfully, that has not happened to me.
Okay.
But what has happened is clients rescinding. So usually we have a 10-day cooling period, so you can take the paperwork to your lawyer, get it reviewed, make sure there's no red flags. And in that 10-day cooling period, if you choose to walk away from the pre-construction, you can. You get your deposit back. There's no penalties. So a lot of clients, they buy in a hype. So, the project just launched. There's so many people in the sales office, and they'll buy, and then they'll take it to their lawyer, and they'll think about it. And then a couple of days later, they'll be like, you know what, this might not work for us.
Right. Yeah, got it.
So a lot of that is happening right now.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are reevaluating their finances and, their situations. And a lot of people also don't want to wait that long either.
Right. Yeah, no, makes sense.
Yeah.
And what do you feel that's going to look like in the next year, 2 years?
Oof. It could be 50-50. Honestly, I feel like it really depends because there's still people that are getting approved for mortgages for pre-construction, and a lot of them are actually just selling them and not even moving in. And right. So it really depends on what the situation of that person is. I mean, there's probably going to be a lot of people that might not be able to close because they won't be approved for a mortgage. Right.
What do you feel about these properties, like the cash flow aspect and the cap rates and how they're performing? What do you feel about that?
I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think, there's a lot of fees that come into pre-construction, and a lot of people don't realize that. They just kind of go in going, okay, yeah, we just have to put down our $5,000 on signing, $10,000 on signing, but they don't actually look at the paperwork where, okay, you have development charges, you have cap fees, and they're really expensive. So I think that maybe we should lower them a little bit, but that's just me.
Oh, no, I meant like the cap rate.
Oh, the mortgage rates.
Yeah, no, the cap rate, like what the unit yields compared to what the price is and the performance.
Okay, so again, it really depends. For the cap rate, I would say...
Like how they cash flow.
Yeah.
Right? Cap rate now,
cap rate,
like 4 is good.
Yeah.
Right? 3 is 2.5.
It's
whatever, but it's very standard. That's the case out there. So what do you feel about that?
I feel like it's okay. Cap rate 4%. It's okay.
Right. And now, do you have a lot of investor clients or a lot of end users that are actually living in the home themselves?
So I do mostly investor clients. I do have a lot of now first-time home buyers that I've picked up all through social media recently.
Right.
That we've got them pre-constructions. And the reason for them going to pre-construction is because one of my clients just graduated law school, and right now they won't be able to get a mortgage, but they have money saved, families helping them, so they said, why not at least get something where our money's gonna make money.
Right.
So it really depends. Some first-time home buyers don't like pre-construction because, again, if the first-time home buyer, it's scary. Right. Getting into the real estate market, and especially pre-construction, can be scary for a lot of first-time home buyers. So I do a lot of investors.
So what are some of the advantages and things that may entice a first-time home buyer to go with a pre-construction project in comparison to something that is on the resale market? So
as of right now, what's going on in the market, I would say mortgage. The mortgage rates is a really big one for people. So you wouldn't need a mortgage until occupancy. So, you have 5 years to really think about that. So that's a big thing for first-time home buyers. And also the fact that it's brand new. Going into a resale, you may have to put in a couple of 60,000 to renovate to kind of get it to your taste, where a pre-construction, you're customizing it from day one. You get to pick your fixtures and your finishes and the color palettes that you like. So it's really moving into your own custom unit at that point. So, and a lot of the incentives, the incentives are good. They may not have to pay it for, say, the next 365 days, or it's a 5% per year deposit structure. So I feel like that also helps because it takes some leniency off the buyers, right? They're like, okay, we've made this payment. Now we don't have to worry. We can save up and still make the rest of our payments. Right.
And how about deposit structure? That probably helps as well.
Deposit structure is a big one. A lot of people look at, when they're looking at a pre-construction, they usually look at builder, deposit structure, and incentives. So deposit structures have been actually pretty lenient, especially the market that we're in. The builders are bringing out, put $5,000 now, and then you don't put 5% down until, say, 30 days or 90 days or, 5% per year. So the deposit structures have been very structured out for people to be able to make the payments.
Right. Very cool. And the team that you're building right now, are you going to have them solely focused on the pre-construction side of things that can help you move a lot of the units that you're signing up for? Or is it something that you want to have them focus on both? Do you want to have them go to the beat of their own drum? How is it that you look to build the team, and what are some of the ways that you're going to guide them?
So right now, my team is my family. So it's my mom and my sister and me. And we have a couple of people in our downline. They're kind of just doing their own thing. They're more in resale. But in terms of my team with my mom and my sister, my sister does resale, and me and my mom do a lot of the pre-construction.
Okay.
Yeah. My sister's really good at resale, and that's her drive. So she sticks there.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you build a team here, and then you go down to Florida, explain to me how that works.
So my mom and my sister would take care of the team here, and I would go out to Florida and build my own little team out there.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So is it very common that where you would live and where you would build your ecosystem is where your team would kind of grow? Or is it something where with the EXP model you can hire on a really good person another part of the world, and then they could absolutely crush it for you and you still get to win from that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. Find someone down there and have them crush it for me. Because of EXP, we're so globalized that it's nice that we don't have to be in one location all the time doing our work. So I would definitely scout out other people in other areas and kind of bring them along.
Right, right. Now, so, what has it been that your headhunting is going to be effective? Like if you want to pull a big agent in from another brokerage to EXP, how are you going to do that?
So we would have to have a big sit down, depending on the agent and what they require and what they need, right? Because each agent requires different things. Some require more mentorship. Some are looking to join my organization because they want more learning how to be on social media, or they want to be more into pre-construction. So each person that kind of joins me usually joins me for different reasons. So again, it really depends.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. And when is it that you're going to call it quits? When are you going to retire? What are your goals? How big's your vision?
So ideally, I want to say retire by 35, but when I say retire, I don't actually mean like I'm done working, I'm just really done of building. My brand has been built. We have that generational wealth going. The business is doing numbers. Like everybody's kind of has their own role that they're playing and everybody knows their duties. So I feel like in the next 5 years, because I just turned 30, that I would be a little bit more retired. But I feel like I'm going to be a realtor until like my last breath.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like real estate is something that I've done since I was 4 years old. So I'm going to do it until my last breath.
Right.
So I will never like stop being an agent, even if I'm like not as active.
Yeah, right. And in regards to the retirement aspect, is it more based on what your downline will generate you or what your properties will cash flow based on?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many, just to shoot a rough number out there, to make $1 million a year off your downline, how big does your team have to be?
So right now we're a team of 6 people. We have 6 other people in our downline. So I would probably have to have a couple of hundred at least to make $1 million from the residual income. I mean, the residual income right now is great, but to be building that bigger downline and that globalized downline that you want, you have to have at least a couple of hundred agents. And a lot of the big agents in EXP do have big downlines that they coach and that they mentor, and they do great jobs with them.
Right. Very cool. And what does 6 people generate you?
So right now we're just generating, I would say, an average about $5,000 revenue.
Annually?
Annually.
Okay.
Give and take, again, depending on how much they sell, how well they're doing, right? Because if you bring on a brand new agent that's not selling at this moment, there's no residual income that comes off that.
Right. Got it.
Yeah, so that's when you go into your mentorship and your coaching and you teach them pretty much everything for them to be successful.
Right. Got it. Interesting. Very cool. Thank you for coming today, Monique.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was awesome listening to your stories and what it is you're doing in the space. And it seems like you got a lot going for you. You're so young and you have so many big goals and such a solid vision. And I think you're going to get there. You're going to crush it. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Nick. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, for sure. Tell them a little bit more about where they could find you.
So you guys can find me on Instagram. My name is Monique Jagirdar. You can find me on TikTok, the same first and last name, and same thing on YouTube.
Hey guys, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this video, as that's how we keep this rodeo moving.